What's up everyone, my name is Zach and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be reviewing yet another highly anticipated release of 2024. There were so many books coming out in 2024 that I'm so excited for. And this month's reading, which I'll talk about more when I do my July wrap up, has been so much better for me because I have been reading like what I want. So thank you guys for tuning in and enjoying these new release videos. But this is going to be a spoiler-free review of horror movie. Before we get into the review though, if you haven't already, subscribing to my channel helps me out a ton. It helps me get early access to books because publishers will look at engagement and subscribers, etc. So subscribing to my channel helps me get more books to review for you guys early. A like on the video goes a long way. And then please let me know if you are going to read this video, if you're going to read this video, if you're going to read this book, if you have read Paul Tremblay before, and what you think about all these like mixed messages about this book on the internet. So we're going to talk about spoiler free. We're going to talk about horror story. I have to hold it like at a weird angle so the light doesn't do that. But also let's not talk about this. I don't know how this happened, but it's really bothering me. And we're just going to call it like aesthetic and we're going to move on. Okay. So this book, as predicted, has taken the internet by storm. I knew it was going to be a big release, but I did not realize the reviews would be so divisive. Like it's either 1 or 2 stars or 5 stars and new favorites, all up and down Goodreads. People either really hate it or they really love it. And I know that every book, there's gonna be people who hate the book or love the book, but this has been very divisive. And I think I'm in the more unpopular opinion with this one. So I actually gave this book 6 out of 5 stars, which if you're new to my channel, that means it's a new favorite. Also, the Barnes & Noble exclusive is really cool. It does have the sprayed edges. Sorry, I'm having a moment. And these like cool end papers. But anyway, this is a new favorite book of mine. And at the end of the year, it's going to be a contender for my top books of the year. I've read a lot of really good books this year. I don't know how it will compare to all the other top favorites I have for the year, but I wanted it to be on that list because I was surprised because I had seen so many reviews that were so bad. I was like, there's not a chance I'm going to like this book. So also, on the note of like talking about the book and whatever, the audio, I listened to the audio for half of it, the last half of it while I was like drawing and stuff. And the audio is amazing. Now it seems like there might be 2 different audio versions out there, but the one that I listened to was a full cast. It had atmospheric sounds. It was amazing. It was like listening to a movie. It was so good. So if you're on the fence about this, I would recommend doing the audio because if reading it is not engaging you, then the audio will because of all of the sounds and like it is really, really good. The audio is really well done. So yes, I'm going to put this down now, or should I leave it up? Should I hold it up for you guys for aesthetic? Okay, fine. I'll hold it up for you guys for aesthetic. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video. Well, this isn't going to be different. I'm going to read you guys the synopsis so you can hear word for word what's being promised to you from this book. And then I'm actually going to read you guys the review that I wrote, which I have never done on this channel, because usually I just like mouth off about stuff, but I have specific points that I want to make. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the synopsis of what this is about, it says, in June 1993, a group of young guerrilla filmmakers spent 4 weeks making Horror Movie, a notorious, disturbing art house horror flick. The weird part? Only 3 of the film scenes were ever released to the public, but Horror Movie is nevertheless grown a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot. The man who played the Thin Kid is the only surviving cast member. He remembers all too well the secrets buried within the original screenplay, the bizarre events at the filming, and the dangerous crossed lines on set that resulted in tragedy. As memories flood back in, the boundaries between reality and film, past and present, start to blur. But he's going to help remake the film, even if it means navigating a world of cynical producers, egomaniacal, I don't know that word, directors, and surreal fan conventions. Demons of the past be damned. But at what cost? Okay, hear me out. This is the next thing, and I talk about this some in my review. Horror Movie is an obsessive, psychological, chilling and suspenseful feat of storytelling genius that builds unforgettable, mind-bending conclusion. Okay, we have a few problems happening right now. One, my neighbors are being very loud outside doing their yard work. So if you can hear that, I'm sorry. The window has to be down. I am in an attic and it's over 100 degrees up here for sure. Even though I have an AC unit in the window, it's still very hot. Anyways, also, I can't see my laptop. It's too far away. And 3, if you've been on my channel before, you also know that I don't read out loud well. But anyways, we're going to move on into my actual review of this. Okay, here we go. I'm going to like comment and stuff. This isn't like death by PowerPoint. You're not going to just listen to me read stuff. But okay, so I did get a review copy of this on NetGalley as well, so thanks for tuning into my channel, and that helps me get review copies early, so thank you. Okay, so this is what I wrote in my review. I'm not a very good writer, so bear with me, but it gets my feelings out about this book really well. I said, well, this was not, sorry, I just had this vision of me reading my own review and not knowing a word that I wrote, or not being able to read it out loud. Okay, anyway. Okay, this is what I wrote. Can I make this bigger? Sorry for the chaos, y'all. You probably can't even see me holding this up over here. I'm thinking I need to get my eyes checked again, because, like, I should be able to see this. Okay, whatever. Aesthetic. Okay. Whoa, this was not what I was expecting in the best way possible. I know early reviews are pretty mixed. Let me throw my hat in the ring. I think one of the things that's causing a stir is that this is really literary horror. It's not very thrilling. It's not very suspenseful. It doesn't do a lot different. I think the synopsis sets you up for exactly what you're going to get, for the most part. Some things I wish that were done differently are, it says in quotations, horror movie is an obsessive, psychological, chilling, and suspenseful twist on the cursed film that breathlessly builds to an unforgettable, mind-bending conclusion. I wish instead it said, horror movie, and this is what I wrote, this is how I would describe it. Horror movie is an obsessive, atmospheric, nostalgic, haunting story about friendships, the weird one, and growing up. Some things that I love about this story are the vibe, as the young kids would say. It was very atmospheric, kept me wanting more. I actually didn't want this book to end. I thoroughly enjoyed how unsettling and disturbingly intimate some of the scenes were. They confront a lot of humanity, human nature, and friendships. As far as the horror movie aspects, I felt like they were done really well. We get parts of the script in almost every chapter. I did feel like I was on the set of a movie that was being put on by a very emo, emotionally immature teens, which sounds awful. We've all been there, and I felt that in the story. Not everyone is going to like this ending. It's not shocking, it's not thrilling, and it's left rather open. The book is slow-paced, and then it just kind of ends. I don't know what's with my brain these days, but it felt perfect to me. It felt like I went on an awful, sometimes horrifying journey, then the story just ended, just like life does. So that's the review that I wrote on NetGalley, and I'll say more for this video. So, not everyone's going to like this. It is closer to literary horror. Like I said in my review, nothing big is going to happen. I mean, there is a big event at the end, but you kind of already knew it was coming. It's more about how it happened. That's a little bit shocking. This is the story about the weird kid, okay? It is the story about everyone who ever felt weird or different and was taken advantage of or abused or put on show because of that. Also, they're in every single chapter almost, there are parts of the script. We go back and forth in time. A lot of the time is spent in the past, which was really cool. You could feel the nostalgia of that. And then some time is spent in the present as he's kind of going through the process of remaking the film. But I think something that's disappointing people is they were probably expecting to see this film be remade and see what happened, because they said that in a synopsis that this would talk about the cursed film genre. It doesn't really. This really isn't so much about a cursed film, more about a cursed mask. There is a mask in... So essentially these teens are making their own horror film, and a girl one day finds a mask and she uses that mask, and that mask tells the whole story basically throughout the story. It's very haunting, it's very chilling, and it's very scary. Also, a lot of horrific things happen to our main character. Take care of yourself while you read this. I don't always recommend looking up trigger warnings, but for this one, there are a lot of really messed up things that happened in this book. And if you were ever bullied or taken advantage of, things like that, take care of yourself, because it's described in detail and it can be very unsettling and very uncomfortable. But I personally really loved this. I just loved spending my time with this book. I think because my expectations went in rather low, that I enjoyed it more, but I also just really loved the writing. If you don't like the writing, then you're not going to enjoy the book. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes we can read like thrillers and the writing can be trash, but as long as there's like a big reveal at the end that feels shocking, like you feel like it was worth it, this isn't going to give you that. This is going to be a slow-paced story, and you're going to want to like the writing, enjoy the atmosphere. Like I really just loved this atmosphere. I loved what the book was saying. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what else to say other than, like, this is not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. Like, that's okay. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to say. I was talking to a friend about books and, like, reviews of books and things like that, and we were talking about how people's opinions are different, and I wrote something that I wanted to mention in this video. Let me find it. Yeah. I said, you're allowed to have whatever opinions. Books make us feel certain ways, and I think that's because our own lives, likes and dislikes, show up for us, and that's all different for everyone. Meaning, like, when you're reading this book, like, the way that I felt about it, all of my life shows up in my opinions about books. Who I am as a person shows up when I'm reading a book. The things that I've been through, the life that I've experienced shows up when I read a book. And everybody's lives are different. And so they're all going to show up differently when you read and review a book. Of course, we can all talk about like common things that we all love and enjoy. But at the end of the day, we are all different humans. So that it's all going to show up and feel differently for everyone. And I think people forget that. They forget that like, people's lives are so different, and so one thing might hit differently for other people. That also reminds me, I have some quotes that I wanted to read you guys, which I can do because the book has already been released. Okay, so there's one quote in here that was not meant for transition at all, but it really reminded me of my own transition, and it says, I twisted and torqued my torso, hoping body parts might appear like they belonged in some other body and not my own. It didn't work, and I met my own shame-filled eyes in the mirror as I had countless times before. I was seeing who I always saw and who everyone else would see, though maybe this time that wasn't quite true. So that just reminded me of like, before I transitioned. Some other quotes. This one I would love to get tattooed on me. It says, we're all someone's bad guy eventually. I really liked that one. Another quote was, we can't know what he is thinking. We can't know what anyone is thinking, even when they tell us. Let me say that again. We can't know what he is thinking. We can't know what anyone is thinking, even when they tell us. I just loved that. I loved those quotes a lot. So I hope that you will give this book a chance. And if you don't like it, just know that that is okay. That is okay. It looks like my memory card is out of storage. And so I hope that it is still recording this. Yeah, that's going to be awkward if it's not. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And hopefully you got to see all of it because it looks like it might be out of storage. And that's okay. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.